Ladies, good afternoon, ladies. I'm really glad that you came today. Our topic of discussion that we're going to talk about is teaching diction, a demonstration of ways to help writers choose the right word. So, choosing the right word when we write. Choosing the right word when we write. How many of you have ever thought about writing? Maybe becoming an author or anyone?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes. And actually, I am in the presence of an author. Hannah here. She has written a book. That I May Know Him? Was that the name of your book?
Yes.
That I May Know Him. Excellent book. And so tell me about that, Hannah. When you wrote your book, did you just sit down one day and just write it all out and then send it off to the publisher, or what did you have to do?
It took a lot of editing, a lot of reworking the poems that were in it, and getting it just right.
Excellent. So you had just one rough draft, or did you have several drafts, or
multiple?
And did you toss papers into the trash can thinking, I'm never going to get this?
Yes.
Many rough drafts, right?
Yes.
So when we write, and all of us have to write, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What are some ways where we do write? Think of ways that we use words.
In letters.
Yes, okay. A letter to someone who is far away, someone who's distant. Back in the day when my husband and I were dating, we didn't have emails, we didn't have texting, and so we wrote out letters, and we got to know each other better that way. What's another way that we use writing skills?
In a classroom setting.
Yes, so academically, right? And some of us in here are teachers, or have interaction with children, and we're teaching them how to write effectively. What else are some examples that we use for writing?
Anything from making shopping lists to Christmas wish lists.
Yes. So list.
Yeah.
We're listing things. Correct. Exactly. How about if someone gives us something?
Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you cards, right? Thank you notes. Some other things I was thinking about, if someone is in the hospital, maybe a condolence, or someone who is sick. I came across this one, and it says someone had written this to a person in the hospital. It said, actually, it was about a golfer. And no, this person played tennis. And the person who was playing tennis was in the hospital. And so the person who was writing the thank you or the condolence card, they said, how is it in your court or in your wing of the hospital? Hope you get better. We miss you on the court. So choosing the right word, what is applicable to their situation? Maybe they're a golfer, or they play basketball, or and so you can choose words that will help them think about, oh yeah, my friends are missing me. I'm not out there on the basketball court, or I'm not out there on the tennis court, and using relational words. Here's something interesting that I found on a website. Tips for writing free verse poetry. Look at this roller coaster, okay? Free verse poetry. There's no rhyme or meter, but it's called the Thrill Ride. And it says, up, up, click, click. Wind blows sharp in my ears. My heart jumps, skips. It's up higher. It's up, up to the highest. Hands grasp at the clouds. Then a forever pause, still waiting. Finally, whoosh. Steep drop, down, down, down. Now that's describing a ride on a roller coaster. Have any of you ever ridden a roller coaster?
Yes.
And so that anticipation of going up, for me, I don't like roller coaster rides. They're a bit scary. But in describing about that event, you could almost feel what the author was going through. I wrote something on the board. Who would like to read it for me? Anyone? Hannah? Okay.
Okay. Marry one who's good and kind and free from pretense, who, if without a gifted mind, at least has common sense.
Yes.
By Frances E.W. Harper.
That's some pretty good words to think about, right? Marry one who's good and kind. A lot of people marry just for outward appearance, right? Oh, they're so handsome or they're so beautiful. But you want to marry someone who's good and kind and free from pretense, like what you expect from them. Who, if without a gifted mind, maybe they don't have all the talents in the world. Maybe they won't be president someday. But at least has common sense. And notice the punctuation and notice some of the descriptive words in here. And we're going to talk about that. So, before we continue, someone read Proverbs 18:21. Because as Christians, what we say, we have a responsibility to other people around us. And this verse is excellent to help us choose just the right words. Yes,
Right.
Jessica.
Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Yes, good. We have that verse up here on the board. I wrote it out. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Wow. Words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never harm me. Is that true or false?
False.
That is false, because what people say, it can hurt us, right? But look at the positive side of it. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. For instance, Hannah. She has written a book of poems that are inspirational, that can encourage other people. She has used the power of her tongue to bring life to people, to bring encouragement to people. And that's something that we can think about. You know, what kind of fruit are we dropping before the hearers or our audience, those who are listening or reading what we write? Some things to think about when writing, okay? Our topic is choosing the right words when we write. For instance, contractions. Who can tell me what a contraction is in grammar?
It's two words that are written together as one word, and then the letters have been removed, and there's an apostrophe where those letters were.
Right, exactly. So let's take the word haven't, okay? When we are writing, it's best not to use contractions. Write out the whole word. So haven't would become what?
Have not.
Have not, right. How about the word won't? What is won't?
Would not.
Would
Will
not.
not.
Will not, would not,
And
right?
this is not, yeah, will not.
Right. How about don't? Don't do this, don't do that. But in context of writing, what would we write? How would we write it?
Do not.
Right, do not. Think of this one. Look at the 10 Commandments up here. They're on the board for us. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Okay, those are words written out completely instead of using the contraction. So God's word is a great example for us in proper writing. So when we're writing, contractions, okay? The proper way to use contractions. Write it out, right? Another thing to think about when writing, create word pictures in the minds of your readers, okay? Word pictures that describe things, and you can use adjectives or adverbs. Listen to this. In the book, The Elements of Story, and after class, you can feel free to come over here and look at some of the books that I brought that are really good for learning how to write and choosing the right word. There's some for children, even. Helps them in learning punctuation, how to write an ad. But in The Elements of Story, this book is by Frances Flaherty. this author talks about Gibbons and his wife. And think of this as I read it. Gibbons and his wife caught fish in the water and sold it. Now, let me open the story first so that I can read the whole thing. And then I want you to think of some of the words that stand out in your mind that relate to you, okay? Gibbons and his wife caught crayfish in Washington lakes and sold most of the catch. They also gathered and sold dewberries, and just for themselves, they collected salmon berries, blackberries, raspberries, solo berries, service berries, sea urchins, crabs, clams, mussels, moon shells, lamb's quarters, purslane, wild mustard, and cardass. Very much a local wild food, a sweetish and smooth-flavored bowl, which is what that last description was of that word, kamas. All right? Rather than saying Gibbons and his wife caught fish in the lake, no, they used descriptive words. They caught crayfish in the Washington lakes. And I did a little research on the Washington lakes, and they are full of crayfish. That's one of their specialties. But they also went on to describe other things that they collected. Who can remember some of the things that they collected as I read them?
It's a different kind of berries.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of different kinds of berries.
Yes.
So instead of just saying they collected berries,
Maybe
he
describe them
specifically stated them. Yes, blackberries, raspberries, solo berries, service berries, salmon berries. Some of those I've never heard of. All right, so when you're writing, do descriptive words, okay? So create word pictures, all right? Word pictures. And lastly, when writing, choose meaningful words. Okay, so choose words that have meaning. Let's think of the word a dry throat. Okay? All right. Sorry. I'm not spelling choose. Choose meaningful words. Think of a dry throat. How would you describe a dry throat?
Parched?
Ah, yes. That was a word that came to my mind. So dry throat. You have parched. Anything else? Dusty, scratchy. Maybe you've been riding a horse all day and your throat feels a little dusty. Okay? So those are words that have meaning. You could almost envision how a person's throat is, or you can almost envision how maybe their ride was. In closing, I want to take the word time. Okay? The word time. Time. What comes to your mind when you think of time?
ongoing.
Ongoing. Okay? Ongoing. Wasted. Right? Sometimes time is just wasted.
Limited.
Limited, yes.
Short.
Short. Yes. Anything else?
Precious.
Precious. Yes, it is. All of these words describe time, right? When we influence other people, when we write, let's choose the right words when we write. Words that make sense, so avoid contractions, create word pictures, and choose meaningful words so that we can bear the fruit, the good fruit of our words, influencing other people as we use the time that God has given us each day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your participation, and the Lord bless your day. Thank you.